all may notice that it is, in fact, currently Saturday. Why are we doing the show on Saturday? Well, we're doing the show on Saturday today just because I've got to go into Vancouver tomorrow. And also it's the one day off that Mrs. Potsquatch gets. So I decided this week that we'll do our live stream show today on Saturday instead of Sunday. All right? All right. Anyway, I hope you're all doing wonderful. Oop. There we go. Anyway, let's go back to the beginning here and say hi to everyone. All right. What's happening, Soul Price? How you doing, my friend? What's happening, Greens? It's 373. Good to see ya. All right. What's up, motherfucker Jones? Good to see ya, man. What's up, Chris Bartone? Johnny Summertime. Good to see ya. Would the beard oil work on your hat? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. All right. What's up, Clay S? How's it going, my friend? Good to see ya. All right. Johnny Karaoke. Hello, hello. What's up, Blaze King and Ganjanani, your mama? Good to see ya. I hope everyone's having a beautiful week so far today. We're just currently counting down the days until we take possession of the new laboratory. That's right. It's going to be a lot of fun. Today is also the first day of spring, if I am correct. I do believe I am. The good thing is everyone, it brings me great joy to share with all of you that we have officially, that's right, we've officially sold the house. All conditions have been removed. The down payment has been put in by the people purchasing our property. We are good. What's happening, 60s Bud? Welcome to the show, my friend. Good to see you. So yeah, long story short, are you saying they're not doing too good, my friend? What's happening on that, Cliff? But yes, so long story short, everybody, we've sold the house. It's all done deal. It's all going to happen. May 3rd, someone's going to move into this house and take possession of it. And May the 3rd, we take possession of our new house out in Hope. That's right. We're going to be coming to you from Hope, BC, everybody. That's going to be the new location, the new stomping grounds of Uncle Potsquatch, and it's going to be great. So long story short, some of the fun things you have to look forward to at the new lab is obviously we're going to be stepping up our game. What does that mean? Well, one, all of our videos are going to be edited very well. Two, we're going to be doing these live stream shows now via Streamlabs. So at the new place, we're going to have a proper set, proper microphone, proper cameras, multi-angles, trying to live mix it as we go. It may not work perfectly at first because, well, let's be fair, I'm still learning how to do all of this. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot of fun. One of the good things is, yes, we will be in the house for May the 4th, or May the 4th be with you. So yes, day 2, I'm going to be working on the lab and then watching Star Wars movies down in the new laboratory. So, I'm saying it's going to be good. But at the new lab, we're going to be having a perpetual flowering room going at all times. What does that mean? It means there's always going to be something in flower. There's always going to be weekly updates now. There will be no downtime anymore in between runs. However, one of the exciting things is there's lots of room at this new lab, so we're also going to be running a lot of fun little experiments and side projects. As we talked about in the last live stream, I think it was. What's up, Jersey-born Roman Genetics? What's up, Nectro Illuminati? Good to see you. Eugene Dolan, thank you very much for the congratulations. Welcome to the show, all of you. Wonky Donkey, welcome to the show. I don't think I've missed anyone else, so there we go. But yeah, so in the new perpetual room, we're going to not only be setting that up, we're actually going to be doing that on movable light rails. So basically, what does that mean? We're going to take some of our lighting systems and strap them onto a track with a motor, and it's going to be going back and forth, back and forth. And I've got a couple of ideas to augment that in terms of putting some adjustable arms onto the side, wiring on some side lighting strips in order to do some side lighting on that as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So probably the first thing that we're going to do when we move into the new lab, obviously, we'll be getting the new flowering room up and running, and we're going to take you on the journey of that in a number of different videos. And so that's going to be fun. As you all know, at the new lab, the puppies won't be there either. Shut up! Puppies, no, hey. Sorry, everybody. Hey, stop. Be quiet, okay? Stop. No. Sorry about that, everybody. At the new lab, the dog... Shut up, you idiots. I apologize, everybody. At the new house, the dogs won't be on set, so that'll be okay. 2 seconds here. Guys, you need to stop. Stop. No. Go have a nap. You can play afterwards. Go lie down. No. If we're lucky, they'll be quiet for most of the show. But at the new set, the dogs won't be there, so that's not going to happen anymore. So that's going to be okay. And also, not to mention at the new house, they can't really see the street anymore. So the good thing is there'll be less distractions to freak them out and get them, being all territorial. But we're going to be putting those lights on mobile light rails. And so that's basically, picture it this way. So here's going to be our main double squatch rig, whether we use a double squatch rack or a double squatch standard. That'll be strapped on there. So those two fixtures are going to be going back and forth. And then I'm probably going to attempt to build on some adjustable arms that'll have some side lighting going on there too. The great thing about the light rails that we're looking to use, I'm going to send an email to the company today. In a perfect world, maybe they'll give me a bit of discount on that because it's going to cost about $1,000 to put 3 of them up. And maybe I can get a discount for everyone else at home if you'd like to try it when you see us doing that as well. So I'm going to send them an email today. But probably one of the first real experiments we're going to get going as well on top of the standard flowering room there is we're going to be building a space bucket. I've built versions of things like this where I build things into fridges or filing cabinets or anything like that. What's up, Dr. Geesh? How you doing, my friend? I'm just going to say hi to anyone I've missed here. Mark Wilson, good to see you, buddy. Johnny Summertime, what's happening, baby? All right. But, yeah, so long story short, what's up, Malcolm Smith? Yeah, well, there won't be races. They'll be going all at the same speed. But basically, kind of what I'm intending to do in that room is we're going to have 3 4x8 tables. We're going to be using tables this time. It's just going to make my life a little bit easier. And I figured, hey, we're moving into a place where I can touch the ceilings with my head. And as you all know, I typically grow quite tall plants. So let's make it challenging for me. Let's make it a little tricky. So I'm even going to put them on tables. I'm going to reduce my height even more that I can do. And that'll be fun to watch me try to accommodate that. So, hey, maybe I'll end up swearing at a few of the videos. You never know. What? Potsquatch swearing? My God, when does that ever happen? But, so that's going to be really fun. I'm going to send, yes. So Green's a 373 steel. It is all motorized and it's operated via a motor. One of our big shout out to Country at Heart Finley. He's actually was the first one to take one of our lighting systems and install them onto the lighting rack. So he's been sending me pictures of their installs at their flower room that they're building now, the new big one. And that's what they're doing with our lighting systems. And I was like, well, that's just bloody brilliant. I mean, back in the day, people used to do this a lot where we put HPSs and stuff and kind of have them moving. But we're going to be doing it with LED. The great thing about doing it with our lighting systems too is the fact of the matter is these things can handle about 90 pounds on the actual rig itself. Our lights don't weigh very much. The heaviest part of our lights, obviously, is the driver. So I'm going to have the main driver on there, and then we're going to have a smaller driver as well. That's going to be operating our side lighting systems on the adjustable arms. And like I said, they're going to be on adjustable arms like this, kind of like a mic stand one. I'm actually probably just going to buy mic stand or light kind of bendy arms and then strap those onto a cross piece and do it that way. But it'll be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. Oh, we've got some new people showing up, and let's say hi to them. 1 second now. Who have I missed? Okay, good. What's happening, Matt Hall? Welcome to the show, my friend. Good to see you. All right. Crazy Train, what's happening? What's up, Jesse Berry? Jesse Berry says, I've been really busy. I missed a lot of the shows, but went back and watched, just got done growing all cured up. Man, nice. Made some dank Northern Lights. Hell yeah. Came out way better than I thought it would. Well, isn't that always a really satisfying feeling, Jesse? When you're doing those first couple of crops and you're just getting to learn growing, and then you kind of have that first truly successful crop where you're like, holy crap, I grew this, man. I grew this wheat, man. Oh my God, right? It's a very satisfying, beautiful feeling. So I'm really happy that went so well for you, Jesse Berry. Congratulations, my friends. Electro-Illuminati, you could move the driver away as well. No? What do you mean, Electro-Illuminati? I don't think I quite follow what you're talking about. Well, I've never really looked at them because obviously, at the end of the day, I only really pay attention to our own tech. In general, I'm not a fan of cobs. There's a specific reason why I'm not into cobs. The fact of the matter is if one of those cobs goes down, that's a very large amount of your light that now just shit the bed. So in basic premise, a cob is no different than an LED chip. It's just difference in sizes. There's one small, one's big. However, when you use big cobs and cobs are being utilized, if one of those cobs goes down, which is very classical with a lot of grow lights that use cobs. They start to burn out on you. I just can't jive with that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not the biggest fan of cobs myself. I'm a bigger fan of using LEDs or the little chippies. But so yeah. So simply put, Crazy Train, don't like cobs. Can't really speak to the company just because, one, I don't really check out a lot of other companies as much anymore these days. I just pay attention to what we're doing. So, Crazy Grower Ty, what's up, buddy? Welcome to the show. Enrique Hernandez, what's up, my friend? How you doing? Welcome to the show. All right. What's up, The Quiet Witch? Welcome to the show. William Johnson, what's happening, baby? Good to see you. One second here. What's up, How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Isaac Kendrick, good to see you. Hell yeah, Isaac Kendrick. I'm a big fan of those monster crop cuttings, man. That's what I'm into. What's up, that guy, Channel 2? It's been a while. How you been, my friend? Good to see you. All right. What's up, Kyle Homewood? All right. But yeah, so basically, let's get back to some of the things that you can expect to see sort of earlier on at the new lab. We're going to be building, first we're going to be building a space bucket. What is a space bucket? What is the concept of a space bucket? Well, the space bucket in general concept is typically built into a 5-gallon pail or something roughly that size. And it's essentially, fist bump to you too, that guy Channel 2, I'm happy you're doing well. We're doing all right here as well, my friend. Basically, we're going to build it into kind of a 5-gallon bucket. I'm going to augment the size. So I'm going to cut the bottom of one off to give me a drop catching area. We're going to put it all together. It's meant to be a self-contained micro grow unit. We put one plant into it with a set amount of light. We try to keep power consumption down on these types of things. And we're really just going to see how much weed can we really crank out of this thing with still keeping power down. So basically, once you build your space bucket, it's all self-contained, right? So you just plug it and forget it, basically, is the general concept behind it. Obviously, you've got to garden and do the same things you would do with a normal size grow, but it's fun. We could do it into a 10-gallon. The first one I'm going to build, though, is going to be out of a 5-gallon. I say, let's keep it tricky. And that'll be the first one we build. And then, very soon thereafter, I'm going to build what I'm going to call a space tin. Basically, I'm going to buy a brand new oil drum, and we're going to retrofit that into a slightly bigger version of a space bucket. I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's been a while since I've really tinkered with anything, at least a number of years really since we've tinkered with much on the channel or built anything. So I'm really looking forward to kind of getting dirty in there because, we're going to basically make this into a step-by-step how-to, okay? We're going to share the designs with you. We're going to show you exactly what we're doing. And we're not going to hide anything from you. So, at the end of the day, where is a space bucket positive? Well, if you live in Prohibition land and you're someone who wants to quietly produce a small little plant, well, that's a very beneficial thing for sure. But at the end of the day, it's also just a sort of a fun experiment. We'll see how much, in the end, watts are being drawn from our space bucket. And then we'll, at the same time, see what our final weight is. Hell, we might even run it a few times, play with different genetics, and we could do a compare and contrast on that. No, exactly, Isaac Kendrick. Look, I used to build a lot of these things that were hidden in plain sight, kind of in my apartment there early on, back in the hood days. My main one that I would usually do is build them out of filing cabinets or build them out of a fridge. And you kind of just have this hidden in plain sight kind of general concept. If you build it out of a 5-gallon plastic bucket, you're going to have some light leaks and stuff like that. So what I might actually end up doing is I'm not sure if I'll use a plastic bucket itself. We may use something else. Maybe for the first one, we'll build it out of a plastic bucket just to kind of pay homage to kind of the first ones that were ever built back in the day. But then we're also going to have some fun. And like I said, I'm going to bring in a brand new oil drum. Oh, how big is an oil drum? 40, 50 gallon, maybe, something like that. I'd have to look that up because I can't quite remember the number off the top of my head. But we're going to retrofit one of those as our second little fun play toy, as it were, and we'll call that one a space tin. But again, we're going to share all of the sort of the startup costs and all the steps to building those. and just play with them. I mean, I'm looking forward to that. We're going to be doing, I've got a couple of really nifty little closets in the new lab. So we're going to do some closet grows again, both homage to our earlier days, but also to show a lot of people at home who may have a small little closet what they can do. Obviously, we're going to do some tent runs. We're going to do some tent experiments. We're going to be doing breeding experiments. I'm going to finally get around to making a very sexy, totally comprehensive cloning video and spend a few weeks kind of putting that together for everybody. So really, I think that's one of the big initiatives I have for the channel in the new lab is to get back to how-to videos and also really touching on a lot of fun, creative ways to kind of, go low cost, especially for the newer grower at home who may not have tons of money to get things going. We can show you what you can do with a little creativity and some crap from around your house. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. And also, it gives me an excuse to play with some tools, like especially when we do the Space 10, pull out the ankle grinder, you know what I'm saying? Would you need CO2 to make that work effectively? No. Jesse London, I almost never use CO2 in any of my grows, big or small. With a little bit of air intake, you'll be okay. But at the end of the day, you could do a little CO2 in there if you want. I probably won't at first. Maybe that'll be something we'll build into the Space 10, because the Space 10 really is what I'm going to put a lot of design into and a lot of kind of fun little systems. I'm going to kind of step up the game on that design and spend a little bit more money to build that one, because I think it'll be really cool and a lot of fun. Do you mean the spin trimmers, that guy channel too, or what do you mean there, buddy? Hey, Electroluminati, that's good. Kush is supposed to hit you good, baby. I like it. Thank you, Jersey Born. So it's a 55 gallon. So yeah, exactly. I couldn't remember exactly what the oil drums are. I could picture them. I actually found a good supplier to buy some brand new ones that we can play with. And I'm looking forward to that. Hey, Squatch, how long can I keep my rooted cutting in solo cups? Good question, Jose Canella. Basically, I like to choke out my plants in my solo cups a little bit. What does that mean? Well, I like them to root lock a little bit. So what you're going to basically do is you're going to keep your cuttings in your solo cup until it starts to cannibalize that first or second nodal layer. What does that mean? Well, it's going to start zapping nutrition and stuff out of its lower leaves to feed its tops. You might even in the end see a bit of curvature happening on the top levels where the leaves are going to curve out a little bit. Yes, we are stressing the plant out a little bit, but this is a good thing. Why? Well, a little stress is a good thing when it comes to marijuana. Like many things, a little bit of duress actually will make it stronger in the long run. Plus, I like it to root lock a little bit. So it's not necessarily a set time window of how long you're going to keep it in the solo cup per se. It has more to do with what you're going to see actually actively happening in the foliage and branching of your little cutting there. But that's typically my approach. I like to leave them to do that. And then once you do that, then you transplant, and it's like a little root grenade, and it explodes. Every time you transplant initially, that's why I'll typically do it about 2 times now before I get into my finishing pots, because we're really going to have a very super dense root ball, okay, by the time we get to that final transplant. And these are all positive things. So if you picture the solo cup, you're going to have super rooted here, right? And then we go to a 1 gallon, right? Then that'll be super rooted. And then maybe we'll go to our finisher, right? So these are all positive things. All right, I'll have to check it out later, that guy channel too. Just I don't really have an easy way to check it in person in the show. But again, the new set with Streamlabs, not only, like for example, on the new show with Streamlabs, like I could even pull that up. We could even share a video. We could show pictures. I'll be able to mix all of this into the live show, especially once I kind of come to terms with how best to run that program. But I'm really looking forward to it. Again, Isaac Kendrick, I probably won't use Mylar. Mylar actually creates a lot of hot spots. It can burn your cannabis, especially on a micro environment like a space bucket. We're going to really want to avoid that. So you can get away with Mylar in terms of a larger space and not have too many issues, potentially. But I won't be using Mylar on those. We'll probably be going just with a straight flat white. If we want to have something that we glue into it, I would use a Panda film, if anything. One second here. I'm just playing catch up and reading people's stuff. What's a wheelie bin, Malcolm Smith? Is a window AC unit enough for CO2? Well, it doesn't really generate CO2. So if you're talking about And it's so yeah, no, that really wouldn't have any effect whatsoever on it because again, typically on an AC unit, it's going to be pulling air out of the room and then exhausting out hot air. So it's not pulling anything new into the room. So you are going to need a new intake vent. You need a dedicated intake vent if you're worried about such things. Okay, but yes. Okay, cool. I'll have to check it out, that guy, Chelsea. That sounds really interesting. What's happening, Richard Harrington? Evening back to the UK, my friend. So yeah, Jose Canel, an AC unit would be fine in terms of having it for a basic exhaust for a relatively decent little space. But it's not going to be bringing anything new in. So it'll function at least for an exhaust for you. What's up, Cam D? Welcome to the show, my friend. Good to see you, baby. All right. Hey, good to see you as well, Jason Houlihan. Welcome to the show. Yeah, go for it, Electro Illuminati. Why not? Okay, so basically, I mean, when it comes to the fade, okay, we all always need to remember too, Jesse London, that not every plant's going to have a classical super fade, okay? Not every plant does this, and you won't really necessarily see that fade until it's past its prime anyway. Some strains will not fade in a traditional sense, and that's okay. That fade isn't necessarily required for the cannabis to be its best version of itself. Certain strains, certain phenos will do it more so than others. So I wouldn't be trying to get my plant to do it. If it's just not doing it, then it's not doing it. It will typically do that on its own, especially once you go into your flush window. And if it's just staying green, that's not something to panic about. Don't panic. It's all right, okay? Just some plants won't do that, okay? And that's just a truthful statement about different genetics. Oh, 100%. You know, most of the clones I ever make, I don't use rooting hormones. I just clone in water. Basically, the oldest cloning technique, and it works. Hey, greetings back to Amsterdam, my friend Blue. I've been to Amsterdam many a time over the years. I actually lived in Holland briefly. Wasn't in Amsterdam, though. I was living, where was I? Utrecht. I was down just outside of Utrecht, I think. Good times. I hope everything's well in Holland, my friend. Which is technically actually a region of the Netherlands, not the country. But, you know what I mean. Hey! One second here. I'm just reading. Yeah, no worries, Soul Price. Sounds good, man. What's thinking here? That guy, Channel 2, flat white compared to the refraction of Mylar is like, it's barely different. So there's barely any real difference. There is a slightly higher refraction rate off Mylar, but when compared to the hotspots created by Mylar, there is no point to use it. Flat white is the way to go at the end of the day. If you compare the actual refraction of the two in terms of the photons, they're almost identical. Like there's very little difference at the end of the day. So when it comes to the fact that Mylar is very, very dangerous in terms of creating hotspots on stuff, at the end of the day, just don't do it. I used to use a lot of Mylar back at the beginning of this channel. And I used to argue the same thing. I was like, well, it technically has a slightly higher refraction rate, which is true. But at the end of the day, as the years have gone by, my opinion has slightly changed on that. So at the new flowering room, we won't even be using Panda film. I'm going to be painting that whole cocksucker white. We're going to do a flat white, and we're going to paint it with a moisture-graded washroom paint to keep moisture out, just in case we ever have any issues with relative humidity. And we're going to be playing it smart and doing it that way. So yes, Mylar does have a slightly higher refraction rate, but it's barely a difference. And I really don't think that slight increase is worth the negative trade-off there, in my humble 2 cents. So, what's up, Dr. Popness? Good to see you, baby. These days, Richard Harrington, Uncle Potsquatch, is predominantly smoking pink and Hindu Kush because, well, that's what we did on the last one. Oh, power plant, right? I mean, we're calling it power flower, but I'm assuming you mean a power plant. I haven't smoked a power plant in years, but I do remember it from back in the hood days. It was very common when I was living in Holland, actually. Growing a fat banana and a Godfather OG. Nice. Neither of which have I tried, but they sound fun. Yes, and also Jesse London. Typically, you'll also notice that things that have a more sat dominant reality to them will not fade the same way that indicas do. Indicas are very classic for having a heavy fade and getting that really hearty hunger for potassium and magnesium and other things as such, sort of that midway through flower, which is then causing that natural fade out as well. 1 second here, everyone. I'm just reading. Oh yeah, like that guy channel 2. I'm a big fan of CO2, but again, it's one of those things that one can be very dangerous and toxic, so be careful with it. And you can even have too much CO2 at times in your environment as well, which can create issues and the toxicity within the plant. So CO2 is great. Just be careful about how you do it. For the at-home grower with a smaller setup, if you really want to play with a little bit of extra additional CO2 in there, just do a yeast CO2 excreter. It's cheap to make. You can make it out of crap around your house. It'll cost next to nothing to do, and it's the safest, easiest way to do that for your plants. Just make sure that you hang it above the canopy because CO2 is heavier than oxygen, and it will go to the bottom of the floor. K-Star, yeah, you totally can do that. I've actually approached it both ways. I put it on motorized Lazy Susans, where it spins around. I find, though, that moving the light typically is not only easier to do, it's also more effective. Because with the moving of the light, what are we doing? Well, we're mimicking a little bit the actual sun passing over the crop, okay? So that, in a sense, is anytime we can kind of come up with an indoor system, right, where we're mimicking some of those natural processes that the plant will witness outdoors is a positive thing. Because that's really what we're doing as indoor growers in our setups, is we're basically emulating Mother Nature inside, okay? So always remember that. Doesn't mean we have to do everything Mother Nature do, right? Because there's a lot of things that I do that would never happen naturally to a plant. But we always bear Mother Nature in mind when it comes to certain things. What's happening, Felicia, Casper, Skippy Limpy? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I've heard rumors about ProMix shortages off and on for years. I've never actually witnessed it happen. So at the end of the day, I think you'll be okay. I actually haven't heard anything legitimate about that. So just hope for the best. I don't think there will be a true shortage at the end of the day. They're a fairly large company now, and they're doing a decent job in terms of keeping their supply chain going. I would say we would have been a bigger risk at the beginning of the pandemic in terms of supply chain issues. So I haven't heard that personally. I've heard rumors like that before, but I've never actually seen it come to a fruition where I'm like have nothing to use. So I wouldn't panic quite yet, my friend. That guy channel 2, it is not a 10% differential. It's like 1 point something percent. And also they do create hotspots. Mylar does. Not trying to be contradictory. I just know that for a fact. Oh, really? Okay. Sorry, Felicia. I don't always see everything on Instagram. I'm not great at Instagram. So I will get on there and check it out, my sister. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. Johnny Summertime, in theory, it could. I could see potential applications if we were to then coat an entire roof with the micro LED or mini LED technologies. I just don't really see the advantageous nature of having such tiny mini LEDs really being part of it, because at the end of the day, we've already got LED chips that are like this big. And I think that personally, in my opinion, is a small enough focal point for that. Micro LED technology or mini LED technology, though, could have use as a secondary or supplementary. So maybe we would put some on our walls, and then that could replace doing sidebar lighting, maybe. So will it make its way in? Sure. I mean, and does it actually have potential to do some positive things? For sure. Do I foresee it becoming a primary? Not necessarily, unless we were to then create an entire photo chamber out of it, where all walls in the roof are then said programmable multi-spectrum micro or mini LEDs. That might be a thing. But the current tech isn't there to cheaply produce. I don't think the tech is there in terms of a few different points. So it may be one day. I just don't think it's quite there yet. Plus, even if it were to get there, the cost, it'll take some time for the cost of the tech, I believe, to come down. So it won't necessarily be the most cost advantageous or sort of thing to install. But it could. It could. And I could see some uses for it in the way I view indoor growing systems. Do I see it becoming a primary? Not necessarily, unless we're actually going to create this photo chamber and then sort of approach lighting the room that way. So maybe. No, I still hate autos, Soul Price. They have their places, but I still hate autos personally. They have their uses. Doesn't mean I'll ever like them. Richard Harrington. No. So hotspots will not be quite as intense, obviously with LEDs. And if you're talking about in terms of like the side refraction, okay. Also, too, you got to remember the way an LED emits light is very different than an HPS. HPS has a super hot spot in the middle of it and has a lot of hot spots in its balance. LED in general is vastly more balanced in terms of the way it delivers light to the plant. Plus, the way the photons come out of an LED, it's much more conducive to the way the plant likes to absorb these photons, okay? Where with an HPS, it's kind of like, eat it, bitch, you know? And then that's kind of how it works. So LED in general, for sure, is a vastly safer thing when it comes to hotspots, in my humble 2 cents there. 1 second here. I'm just reading everybody. Oh, and I respect that shit. Don't get me wrong, yo. Like I respect autos in general premise, and I respect the initial work done by the joint doctor who was responsible for bringing a stabilized, marketable auto flower to market. They're just not my happy place, but that's just me. And that's bloody true too, that guy channel too. Especially like, for example, like a lot of organic super soils, right? Like you won't get quite the same fade that you're used to using a bottled nutrient system. I mean, it's just true. Because at the end of the day, we've got so many different things in a super soil that'll keep breaking down for the plant. The great thing about doing a truly organic super soil is we don't really necessarily need to flush really all that much, because there's not the same kind of salt content that then builds up for when we're using bottled nutrients. Excuse me. I ate a very big lunch right before fucking the show, so a bit of hiccups here. Electroluminati says, my orange bud is looking really bad at the moment. Okay. Brown spots in the leaves, up to CalMag and PK, but no effect. We got to remember Electroluminati too. When these hungers for like potassiums and magnesiums really set in to our plants, that damage is irreparable. Like once it's happened, that's not going to change, and sometimes will spread. You can up it, but sometimes it'll keep eating off of itself. But at the end of the day, this isn't necessarily something to panic about. I mean, a lot of the plants that I've run on the channel, really had some severe leaching happening quite early on in flower, and I wasn't worried. I mean, I did up things in terms of my feeding, but it will keep going, and you'll be fine though. Again, it's okay. Like a lot of people freak out when they see that, and this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Okay, your flower typically will still be okay. If anything, it often could be a sign that it's going to be really rocking actually at the end of the day. So I wouldn't panic too much. Electroluminati, yeah. But again, without seeing pictures, it's hard for me to give you an honest opinion on it. But in general, speaking to it, yeah. Yeah, see, that's the way to do it, that guy channel too, in my humble 2 cents. Vastly safer, and it's cheaper than hell to do. Oh, totally. And Richard Harrington, I mean, the same thing could be said about a lot of the outdoor climate here in British Columbia. Because simply put, the window here isn't a huge long season, and sometimes it is so wet here. We get so much rain off and on throughout the summer sometimes. So like, for example, in British Columbia, especially throughout like the Fraser Valley and other parts of this area in BC, Bud rot and PM is just rampant. I mean, most people last year that I knew that had outdoor plants had issues with PM and bud rot, and it was really sad to see because everyone was really excited, and then I had to go to their house and then break the news to them that like you got to amputate half your bush off. Sounds so bad. Or that their bud is just riddled with PM and is no longer safely consumable. But yeah. Uh, it just has to do with the fact that when we're in flower, the red light spectrums are just sort of what is really that happy wavelength of light that's helping to trigger flowering. You're still not going to want to have straight just that. I mean, having a comprehensive good mix on it is always good for sure. It just has to do with what the plant likes to eat, okay, light-wise, during that part of its life, okay? So it's like, for example, this is a decent enough analogy. Like, for example, a growing child, when it's a young kid, has certain dietary requirements that'll be different than an adult, right? Same basic concept when it comes to plants, okay? We're going to have to agree to disagree on that because I've got articles that tell me very different on that one. But anyway, not a big deal. We don't need to get into an argument about it. Have I ever tested it? No. I'm just going on articles that I've read from different magazines and books. But one second here. I'm just reading. Richard Harrington. Little thing I tried worked really well was to bed the final pot on a bed of clay pebbles in a larger pot to allow roots further room. Okay. Really good results compared to the others. I didn't. Interesting. Fun. Yeah, I mean, if we all remember on the pink cushions when we were first running them in the lab there, like, I mean, very early on, remember when we were transplanting those 1 and 2 gallons and some of them we picked up and just like this, like just this slab of roots on the bottom of the plant that had grown out of the holes and then just kept going around underneath it. Oh, hey, I mean, dude, let's be fair. The numbers I'm quoting that guy channel to are based off of numbers from probably about 7 or 8 years ago. So there could have been very well an improvement in terms of mylar tech. And you could be totally correct on that. I'm just going on the articles that I read, and they are a number of years old, 100%. So, definitely could be very, very legitimate there. And I'll look into it after the show, my friend. Cheers. Nothing wrong with a little bit of helpful discussion. But again, mylar will create hot spots unless you have a perfectly flat mylar. Regardless of how, if anything, if it's more efficient now at refracting things, that actually makes it more dangerous. So that's where, if you are going to use mylar, be very careful with it. Don't wrinkle it. Don't crumple it up. Don't get any weird bumps or anything on it. Because that's where these hot spots are going to come in and create issues, okay? So if the refraction rate is improved now, which it very well could be, that actually makes it more dangerous, in my humble 2 cents. So, what's up, Jeremiah Sanchez? Yes, so the Quiet Witch, your plant was looking a little sickly. That's why I was actually asking whether you've been feeding it. It looks like to me that you've got it in something that your pH is off in your soil. And I normally don't pH things, but she's looking hungry. It looks like she's having a nutrient lockout via pH. And also, I'm questioning what the pot is. It almost looks like there may be something leaching out of your little pot as well. Eh. I personally feel that a lot of cobs are going to be obsolete. I mean, I don't think cobs are the future, and I don't really think they will really play a big part into it, to be completely honest. But again, I think that's also a style thing, right? Because a lot of people have different approaches how to build lights and what they think is best, right? I mean, I just don't like cobs. So one, am I biased? Sure. But two, they kind of remind me. Anyone remember those flash drives that we used for like 4 years until we just didn't use them anymore? We all thought it was going to be the next big thing of information storage for computers. Remember those weird like flash zip card drives that were like a super duper floppy? We had them for like in my memory, it was like 3 or 4 years, and it was like, oh yeah, we're just not going to use that anymore. So I mean, that's kind of how I view cobs personally. But again, that's just my humble 2 cents. Where'd my voice go? It's right here, Jesse Lennon. What's my favorite LED driver out of the mean well range? I mean, I'm using the 480s. I can't remember the exact coding off them off the top of my head. I'd have to look. What's up, Michael Montgomery? Good to see you. 1 second here, everybody. I'm just trying to read. Bear with me. Well, I feel you, man. And thank you for enjoying Richard Harrington, my friend. Well, that's the general concept of aquaponics, Roman Reckless. There's actually this really cool house built by like this really old dude who built sort of like a whole house down in Central America. And he's been building it for decades, to my knowledge. But yeah, he uses aquaponics and he recycles all different types of water from different parts of the house. And it's all kind of this ecosystem almost that kind of works through itself. And he's got fish that he eats, but then that produces this to go in and feed plants and other waste. You know, it's just really cool. If you probably could find it, 70-year-old guy, Central America, eco-friendly house, aquaponics. Even if you just search that, you'll probably pull it up. I read about him years ago. But I have the utmost respect for what that guy was doing, man. It's like, one day I'd love to build something like that just for fun. That's awesome, Jeremiah Sanchez. See, you know what? And that's where the creativity of the grower can be a lot of fun. Hey, no worries, Texas Squatch. Welcome back, buddy. What's up, Red Claws? How you doing, my friend? Excuse me. Yes, the Quiet Witch, I answered your question. Unless I'm really far behind. Okay, so Jesse Lennon, if you got butt rot, make sure you go down a bit and amputate. How far behind am I? Bloody hell. I'm sorry, everybody, if I'm not quite keeping up. That guy channel 2, no, her plant's sick. That's why I was talking to you, the Quiet Witch, the other day. It's a little sick, my sister. Hey, no worries, that guy channel 2. So, fuck, I'm probably really behind, aren't I? Yes, so Jesse Lennon, in terms of bud washing, I'm typically, if I'm going to bud wash, I like using the H2O2 bud washing system. You know, some people will use like a baking soda with lemon juice as well. I typically just go H2O2. If you go back a few videos, I can't remember my ratios off the top of my head right now, but I do totally share it in the bud washing video in the last harvest or something that we did. So if you go back a grow or two, might even be the last one, I go over all of that at harvest time in the harvest video there. So that'll keep it there, and you can watch us kind of do some like quick things too as well. Hey, sounds good, Johnny Karaoke. Thanks for tuning in, my man. Oh, and I found you on Instagram, man. I love your Instagram page, doing your crazy sets and rocking out with all your props and doing your songs, by the way. I was having a beer watching some of them the other night, and I just wanted to say I really enjoyed it. So good job on you, buddy. Yeah, that guy channel 2, I'm pretty sure what she's having with her thing is both a pH lockout, because one, it shouldn't be doing this early, as well as... so I think there's an issue with the pH potentially of the soil, but you've got it in a weird pot, Sarah. Like, what did you put it in? Because one, you wrap duct tape around it, which always makes me nervous, but I don't think you got straight duct tape because that'll leach out. But did you put it in an icing container or something like that? Because sometimes the low-end plastic stuff can leach out a bit on you, etc. I don't know. We could talk later, Sarah, about it too. How far behind am I? Bloody hell. God damn it. Well, the USB flash drive, we call that now. But remember back in the day, those little tiny, I can't even remember actually what they were called. I was in grade school when we had them, so. It's all about learning, Quiet Witch. Yeah, that's a good question, that guy Channel 2. Do you have appropriate drainage in the bottom, like lots of little holes for it to drain out of, Sarah? Yes, H2O2 is hydrogen peroxide. Sorry. I just call it H2O2 all the time now. It's a little bit quicker. It's typically the far reds and the deep reds that the plant really likes during flowering. You know, it's just what the plant's into. Uh, it was a K-Starter that came right after the floppy disks. Because I remember the big initial ones that had like 10 kilobyte storage, and then we had the 3.5 inch floppy, and then there was the new. It was slightly smaller than the 3.5 inch floppy. Remember those? And they had you had to have a special drive to plug them into. They were around for a few years, then we discontinued them. I mean, Jose Canela, I mean, tell him to look at the specs on our lights and look at how many diodes we actually put into it and the parts we actually put into it. Tell him to watch some of my videos. And if he's still not convinced, tell him to watch the new light set up at the lab there. We're going to be going crazy with some of this shit. Sounds good, Jersey-born Roman genetics. Thanks for tuning in, my friend. Nice joke, K-Star. I like that. Nobody likes the floppy disk. No, they weren't memory sticks. They were like these. It was like a floppy disk, but it had a greater amount of storage. But it was like they only existed for 3 or 4 years, and it's like, yeah, okay, we're never going to use these. Yeah, dust is the big one. Part of why we bud washed on the last one is because it was the last run then. Because remember how I was redoing the subfloor, so I had to chip out the whole subfloor, and then I was sister joisting the crap out of the floor, and then putting a new real subfloor in. So there's all this sawdust in the house, and that's why we bud washed on the last run. I'm gonna have to look it up. You know, I really can't remember the name of the stupid thing. Was it no? Because it wasn't an SD card. No, it was like this big, and it had a separate drive. They were stupid things. They were only around for a few years, and I was in grade school when we had them, and then I got to high school and they were no longer a thing. We were on to CDs and stuff. Mini disc. Maybe it was the mini disc. Maybe that's what it was called. Maybe that's what it was. Because they were blue. I remember them being blue, and I remember most of the drives that I remember, at least in grade school, were like these little blue stupid things. We only had them for a few years, and then nobody used it. So yeah, I think you found it. A mini disc. Nope, zip drive. So that's all newer stuff. This thing was, and it wasn't an external hard drive because I've got tons of those. It was just this weird stupid thing. I would have been in about grade 4, 5, and 6 when I remembered using them in grade school, but yeah, they were stupid. They were not around for a very long time. Well, no, the mini discs that we used them for information storage in school briefly. I went to a fancy art school, so they had lots of fancy crap there and shit. They were stupid. I hated them. Too expensive, and then they never took off. Oh, right? Yeah, moving on. 3 or 4 years of stupid, right? Oh, yes. So that would just be a little bit of algae growth, Mike Sparks. Not a huge deal. I wouldn't freak out about it too much. Algae, if it gets really, really, really bad, can totally choke out and choke out oxygen in the root systems. But a little bit of algae is not a big deal. A lot of my grows will typically have a little bit of algae with them just because I live in a temperate rainforest, basically, right? So, no, not floppy disks. They were after floppy disks. So you remember the big, stupid, thin floppies, and then we had the 3.5-inch floppy disk? There was actually a tech that came after that before CD-ROMs, and it was stupid. And anyway, that's what Cobbs remind me of, personally. I'll find a picture of it for you, and I'll show you what they were. It wasn't quite a mini disc per se. I remember, I don't know. I'll find a picture of it and share it. I'll share it for them. We only had them for like 3 or 4 years here. And then it just went straight to CD-ROMs because one, they were far too expensive and they cost like a bajillion. Yeah, they were kind of like those diskette type things. Exactly. It was like a new and improved floppy disk that sucked. It may have been called a zip disk. I can't remember the name of them. I just remember using them when I was a kid in school and I hated them. And the only reason we're still talking about it though is that to me is kind of what the Cobb is, right? The Cobb was another idea of the same basic train of technologies. I just don't personally see it having a huge future when it comes to the future of lighting cannabis grows, but that's just my personal humble 2 cents. Hey, Irish Wanderer, it's been a while, buddy. Thank you very much. We're quite pleased that the house is finally sold. Uncle Potsquatch, I won't lie to you. I tell you, I've been pretty stressed about all this crap, and it's just nice to know it's all said and done. We found a house, afforded a house, flipped this house, and it's all going to work out. We're having to wait a little bit longer to get back in the lab too than I wanted to, but hey, we did it anyway. And, we're really going to have the room, the time, and the chance to really step up our channel, not only in terms of the production value, but really releasing a lot of really good content, how-tos, and a lot more stuff than we used to do. Yeah. And I remember them being blue, ChemD, but that's just my memory, so... Sorry, everybody. Ooh, I caught up. Yay. Hey. I've never used the exact product recharge. I have used products like it. And yeah, they could be, in general, that type of product could be really great. And so that recharge product also works really well. Like, for example, let's say a friend gives you some clones and they ain't doing too well and they're a little thick, you know what I'm saying? That can really help turn them around as well. So yes, I've never used the specific product recharge, but I've used products like it though. And they can be very advantageous and are a great tool for any grower to have in their kit for sure. Yeah, I'm happy too, Felicia Casper Skip a little bit. Especially in the runaway market right now, in Vancouver and in BC right now. Like, it's just stupid here. The house that I've bought has gone up $50,000 to $150,000 since I bought it. I haven't even taken possession of the house and I've already made money on it. So between the down payment I'm putting down on this house and the new assumed value, I will have anywhere from $150,000 to $250,000 of equity in my new home by the time I move in because of the runaway market currently. It's just crazy. Right, ChemD? A lot of my buddies love recharge. I've used products like it, and it is really good. Recharge, I believe the classical recharge products, beneficial microbials, is it not, everybody? Because I've never used that one specifically. I'm pretty sure it's beneficial microbials, is it not? Yeah, thank you, ChemD. That's what I remembered it being. Slowly but surely. And at the end of the day, I don't know, Brandon Dusty. I don't know. Yeah. See, I've used Great White Shark, and that's a great product too. I'm definitely going to be playing with it a little bit more because I've only used it a little bit. But I've looked at the pictures on the White Shark's Instagram page, and there's some pretty impressive fruit systems on those. So I'm looking forward to getting that product in and playing with that a little bit. Yeah, they're very similar, essentially the same thing, Michael. Just one came first, which I believe was Recharge. Great White Shark is a newer product, and I believe it comes out of California. Excuse me. It may have been that, Mike Sparks. They were stupid. I hated them, and they were so expensive. I remember our teachers when we had them in school talking to us, and they were like, "Don't fuck these up." We're like, "Okay," because it was just atrociously expensive, and it never really took off, which is what is required for technology's price to kind of come down, right? So. Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Sadly, if you mean 14 days until we move, no, we don't move till May the 3rd. So there's another month. I got to get through the month of April. This will be the last 420 we celebrate in the house here. The one thing I'm really excited about, everyone, is today's the first day of spring. Since we've sold the house, I don't have to have any stupid people coming through my house and keeping it clean all the time. Well, my wife likes me keeping it clean, but it's like it's different the type of clean you got to keep your house when you're trying to sell it than just keeping it clean for your wife. I'm the one who's always here. So I can actually get a few little babies going. I'm going to actually go through my list of seeds today and select some stuff to maybe get going for having some babies started for the new house. I'm also going to get some plants going for the outdoors. And these are food plants, obviously. I'm going to do some tomatoes, obviously, and a few other things there. Excuse me. It'll be fun, though. I'm looking forward to it. Well, I feel you, Richard Harrington, but I mean, at the end of the day, I am so set in my ways when it comes to auto flowering cannabis, you'll never change it. Even when because my company will develop auto flowering cannabis because, I mean, there's a huge part of the market that's what y'all want. And as much as I don't like them, I will spend my time to invent an auto for all of you that I think is worthwhile. And I'll still hate them. I'll pour my life soul blood into it, and I'll still hate the stupid fucking things. The only auto flowering cannabis in my mind that would really have a real place for me to grow that I would enjoy, like truly enjoy growing, would be if I could get my hands on some actual land race from Mother Nature, ruderalis. And that would be fun. I would enjoy that. That would be nifty. But yeah, you know. I miss the old Windows. It was back when I was good at computers. That's the funny thing. Like the last operating system Uncle Potsquatch was proficient on a computer was Windows XP Service Pack 3. That shit was my jam. Loved it. I used it for years afterwards. And then I kind of zoned out on computers. And now, so here I am trying to learn computers now. And I'm kind of wishing I stayed hip with computers because it's hurt my damn brain. Uh, who? What? What now? You know what? I'm confused. What do you mean, buddy? Really? I've never had issues with tomatoes. Last year, I probably yielded over 1,000 tomatoes. The year before, about 1,400. Hey, you know, if you've got a naturally occurring landrace ruderalis, that's something I would be intrigued to play with for sure. I would definitely be into that. Oh, really? Well, dude, if you could get your hands on some native, actual landrace ruderalis, baby, Uncle Potsquatch would love to play with that. That's something that's auto flowering that I could have fun with. Plus, also too, that's where I would then begin to make my autos from. Go back to the drawing boards and rebuild everything. One second here, I'm just reading. You see, Soul Price Windows 7 was still too new for me. I hated it. I was such a hardcore XP guy that when they came out with the first Windows 7, I got mad at it because I didn't know how to use it. It was too different. And I was mad because I really liked XP Service Pack 3. Well, that's the thing, because I know that there's a lot of natural ruderalis sort of in Eastern Europe and in Russia, and then over in Asia as well is another place where a lot of them come from. I believe a lot of them also are naturally occurring down in kind of Central America, Mexico as well. A few places, you know, heading down south, right? But they're very intriguing when you find their natural existing sort of nature, right? Or I'm just sounding like an idiot. Land race ruderalis is cool. And I'd have fun growing that. Yeah, that's how I spell it anyway. And that was at you, you know. Yeah, I mean that's the sad thing, Roman Reckless. Certain products are very expensive, and that's one thing that definitely is a heartbreaking thing. Well, if you have some that you'd love to share, I would be humbly grateful, my friend, because now we're talking something that's fun, and that is an auto Uncle Potsquatch can get on board with. Plus, I think a lot of the people on the channel would love seeing something like a Landrace ruderalis actually grown out. Yes, so Electro-Illuminati, ruderalis is the third species of cannabis. They typically only go to about a foot and a half tall. Often will have sometimes even just one giant growing bud. They're weird little things. But that is where the genetic sequence, okay, or genetic trait of not requiring a change of the photoperiod comes from that was used to make modern day auto-flowering strains. The original work then said done by the joint doctor. The first one was Lowrider number 1, then Lowrider number 2. And then he made a bunch of other ones after that. Yes, so Jason Houlihan, I'm going to be able to have a small outdoor garden. Sadly, where I'm moving won't get quite as much sun as where I am now. I'm kind of in a giant valley surrounded by super tall mountains. So we'll do some fun videos where I'll just take you out for a hike into the middle of nowhere and show you where I'm living now. You'll think it's pretty nifty. We're moving deeper into the Rockies. But I will have space. There is a giant tree in the front yard. So where I can do certain things in the front yard, I'm going to convert the little front lawn into a garden as well. But in the back, we'll get some old case on. So I'm going to do a lot of sort of planters probably in the back. There's one little planter garden area there now, and I'll probably do a few other planters sort of out and about there. Oh, well, no worries, Busby. Thank you very much. I'm humbled by your kind words, my friend. Well, a landrace seed means naturally occurring. Even someone who's propagating it, unless they're exactly propagating it, that Gen 1 from something they found, I would even argue that even if you keep breeding from a landrace strain, if you go even a couple generations into that, that's no longer a true landrace. What that is, in fact, is landrace genetics. But it's not a landrace. A landrace is a naturally occurring cannabis plant that has happened on its own in Mother Nature, right? So that's where I would love to play with some actual landrace ruderalis. Like, that would be fucking dope. Again, hemp actually has nothing to do with ruderalis. Typically, essentially, hemp is no different than a basic strain of cannabis sativa. It just has no THC in it. It's under a certain level. It is all the same plant. It just has to do with the cannabinoid levels in it. I used Vista too. Yeah. I still hated it. XP Service Pack 3, I held on to it for years. I just couldn't let it go. I've actually got a couple of African and Jamaican land races in my collection. I've got one African land race and I believe one or two Jamaican ones, but not tons of them. But again, I love land races and naturally early stuff, man. Hey, you got this, man. Thank you for tuning in. That guy channel 2. It's been too long, buddy. I've missed you. It's great to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. I hope the family's doing well, and it's great to see you, buddy. One second here. Yeah, see, I never really used Linux much. I had a bunch of nerd buddies who were into the Linux operating systems, but I never really did. Okay, that's great. I'll email you back after the show, Thank you so much, my friend. I really do appreciate that. And if you'd like to join the Discord server, we have that as well. Yeah, I mean the hard thing is Richard Harrington is land is so expensive in this area of BC. Things in Vancouver right now for houses are selling. Obviously, I'm not in Vancouver, but an hour, 5 hour, 10 minutes outside of Vancouver, where I am currently, are selling anywhere from $300,000 to $2 million over asking right now. So that's why I'm going to be busting my ass with our new CBD line. We're actually hopefully going to be starting to be in a bunch of stores across the states, like Target. And we're trying to get in CVS and a bunch of other big stores, at least on their websites at first. And if we do well on their websites, they'll give us shelf space in stores. And we're going to be hopefully at least bringing our beard oil into Canada and getting that into Shoppers Drug Mart and London Drugs. But I'm working really hard to get all of that to take off. because I need to get the money together to buy the farmland for us to do the genetics company before the market goes stupid. So I've got about a year or two to make a couple $1,000,000, to be honest with you, so I could go buy what I need for us to do the company. But yeah. Yes, Josh D. Fletcher, that's me on the Facebook, buddy. As long as you see a bearded, balding idiot, you have found the right person. Yes, so Jason Julian, not only are we going to be doing freak shows again, currently don't have any beans, but Chris, our friend Chris Matos, was kind enough to send us freak show pollen, so we're going to be doing some breeding with it as well. And I'm trying to get my hands on a few freak show beans just so we can grow a few more of those out for everybody too. Because I know a lot of people were sad that we had to euthanize those ones. Hell, I was one of them. Oh, that's gorgeous, Michael Montgomery. That would be one land race. Irish Wanderer, anything that's naturally occurring from any part of the world would be considered a land race in my humble 2 cents. Hey, thanks, Richard Harrington. We'll see how she goes. It's looking pretty good. No, but see, Michael Montgomery, the sad thing is, though, for me to actually buy an acreage and build and do what I need to do, it's going to cost about that. It's going to take, with a land purchase, it's going to take Uncle Potsquatch $1 to $2 million easily just to even do a craft cannabis small license for, we will have a 2,300 square foot retail license. And then to do 2 500 square feet micro nursery licenses, which is what I require to do the seeds, it's going to cost me $1 to $2 million. Just the way it is, sadly, in Canada. And it's a load of crap, but it is what it is. I also, sadly, live in the most expensive part of Canada to buy property in. So I do, Richard Harrington. I remember the Maple Leaf Indica. What's up, Panda Cat PK? It's been a while. How you doing? Good to see you. Richard Harrington, Bitcoin is gone. The time to get rich on Bitcoins, it's already gone. I wish I would have gotten into Bitcoin like a lot of things early on, but I didn't. And no, I'm going to make my money the old-fashioned way. It's called good business and being good at what you do. And to be fair, even if all I got to do is land a couple of these big company accounts, and I actually have just made the money we need. So we're actually getting eerily close. I also need to make another little bit more. Yes, Jeremiah Sanchez, there's tons of land races left. Typically, probably the easiest place would be going to certain parts of India for sure. So that's where you're 100% on the money there, Irish Wanderer. But there are even naturally occurring land races in Canada too. There's land races everywhere. The great thing about Canada is it's mostly wilderness. Most of Canada's unexplored. It's just out in the middle of fuck all nowhere. So you can kind of go out there. Oh, everybody, that link that's being shared there by Soul Price, that is our Discord server. And, but what was I saying? Fuck, I was saying something. My stupid brain just blanked. Bloody hell. I was talking about regional land race crap, but I think I was saying something else underneath though. Son of a bitch. Oh, right. So yeah, long story short though, yeah, Ganja Nani, your mom, I think, may have fell asleep. She was here. Irish Wanderer may have it. Do you have the links, buddy? And if you do, could you share them? Both to the CBD line, the lights, as well as the Facebook group. If you don't mind, that'd be great. If you haven't, thanks, buddy. Shit, but what does it say? Oh, right, yeah. Another thing that we've actually been in development for over 3 years is actually a television show. We've already got the entire production team. I've already got the director on board. He's a fellow grower. He's a four-generation family grower from California. His name is also Josh. He lives here in Vancouver, BC now. He was the director of photography for the pilot TV episode of the TV series I wrote. And we shot the pilot. That's another thing I'm trying to get picked up. But he and I have been in development now. Well, I've been in development for the show for about 3 years. Pitched it to him about 3.5 years ago when I first was coming up with it. He loved it. I've touched base with him over the last year or so on it. We've worked a little bit together on it. Basically, he's so busy that I can't get him on board until I have that check cut. So basically, I'm doing the initial pre-work. It's going to cost us micro, ultra low budget. It'll be $1.5 million and for season 1. And to make it really silky smooth, it's going to be about $3 million. But I know that sounds like a lot of money, but for a television show, that's fuck all money. So that's basically nothing. So simply put, we will get there, and that's one of the other things we've got coming in store for you in years to come. Will be the travel cannabis show, where we travel all over the world, exploring both colloquial cannabis culture in different countries, as well as going over historical stuff, and then also potential future things. Sort of season one will be kind of a blend between shooting in Canada and the States, and then in season two we'll go abroad. It's going to be a good time. Probably hit Europe next. And then in season three, we'll start going to the other really cool old school parts of the world. India will be an interesting one. And going through and seeing if we can find some of the original Hashishan tribes that are still out there. And it'll be a good time. Pray for me when we get to season three, because I don't do well in the heat. Well, I guess that's probably true, Irish Wanderer. I guess, yeah, I didn't think about Ireland. There's probably isn't one there, but nor would there be in Scotland. You gotta go more so to sort of Eastern Europe and then over into Russia for those. But good point. Good point. You got me there. Oh, fuck. You got me there, Irish Wanderer. I like that. Well, the great thing is, Jason Julian, is I'm not completely stupid at business. I'm actually, well, look at it this way. We've built and gotten where we've gotten with nothing. Just a few beers and some tenacity. And we've got a lot of really good things coming. So working really hard behind the scenes, and that's one of the things we've been working really hard on. Well, one, all year, but especially as of late, in terms of that, is kind of what we're going to use as the vehicle to be able to afford doing the genetics company, for example, and then, hell, if it goes really well, the TV show will be then our CBD lines and CBD products and all of that jazz. Hell, the beard oil contract alone, if we could get it in Shoppers Drug Mart / London Drugs, probably would pay for both. And a big shout out to Potsquatch Holdings, our business partners who are helping us take over the world. AKA Blake, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, even though you probably will never see this. Oh, dude, Brett Vasilenkov, they will kill in a what'd you say? An 8x8. You'll be fine in there. I pushed the first double squatch racks that we ever brought in. I pushed it to its capacity, so I did that one on kind of a 4 foot by 10, and I grew the plants out way too big because I wanted to see what they could handle, and they definitely did an all right job. You can go back and look at it. That's what I was affectionately calling Zone 3 on the last run. But especially if is it a tent that you're putting it into, or is it an 8x8 room? But yes, 2 double squatch racks will cover that. Worst case scenario, throw another big squatch or one more in if you really want to go crazily big, or put them on movable light rails, which is what we're going to be doing at our new place, and then boom, one light becomes 2 or 3 because it'll slowly move back and forth, thus cutting our power consumption but giving us even better coverage. Yeah, so basically the Discord server, why we've done that, and that's been something that both Nicole Lendman and Soul Price have been working on. Is calling out, what's up, Red Clouds? Welcome back, baby. We've been working on getting that together because not everyone's on Facebook, not everyone likes Facebook. So Soul Price approached me and was like, hey man, what do you think about doing a Discord server? And I vaguely understood what that meant. But it's just another place for us all to kind of come together, chat, and be a community. And it's not owned by a giant super conglomerate like Facebook and Mr. Zuckerberg looking down your pants, as it were. So, I mean, it's another safe place for people to come and be if you don't want to be someone who's on Facebook, right? So we're just trying to create as many places for people to be able to participate and be a part of the community, no matter where they may come from, and no matter what their actual personal comfort levels may or may not be in terms of technology, right? So The only problem with my 90-year-old brain is like the more social media crap and internet things we come up with, the more crap I have to learn and pay attention to. But it is the least I can do for all of you, my friends. Uncle Potsquatch loves you and fuck it. I'll keep my brain learning for all of you. Yeah, so typically Michael Montgomery, if you just make like a notepad though file where you keep them, you just individually copy and paste it. That's how I have to do it as well. If I'm using a phone, I'll pull up the clipboard on my phone, which is kind of like the notepad, and then I'll select individual things to share. I think that's the only real way to do it. It's just a few extra clicks, you know. Kinda, yeah. Except, you know, it's a little bit cooler. We could do a little bit more with it. But I remember MSN Messenger, man. Woohoo. Yeah, so Jesse L, to my knowledge, all you got to do is download Discord, sign up, pick a name. I'm the Potsquatch. That may shock you, I know. And then you just follow that link to the group there, and you'll be good to go. And if I'm telling that wrong, Soul Price, or I don't think Nicole's here, but, you know, clarify for them, but... Oh, can you? Okay, look at that. See, even look, I just learned something. Thank you, Electro. I didn't know that. Yeah, I do almost everything through my phone when it comes to these online social media stuff. I am going back to computers, so like the new live stream shows are all going to be hosted from a computer, multiple cameras, super fancy microphones, and a set and all that crap. And then I'm actually rebuilding my old MacBook Pro from 2012, late 2012, which is, according to my nerd friends, arguably one of was the greatest MacBook ever made. So I'm actually having it rebuilt right now, plugging in a bunch of new parts into it. And if I'm going to be doing the editing, Final Cut Pro is probably a little bit easier for me to use. I also have Adobe Pro. My wife's better at using that one, and I can't ask her to do it all for me. So I'm going to try to do our editing for our videos on Final Cut Pro just because it's a little bit easier to use. You got a 10 by 5. Do I need 2 double squatches for that? Michael Montgomery, that would be the best. That would be full power in my mind. Or you could technically put it on a mobile light rack and get away with one. But yeah, two would be cranking it out max power for sure, buddy. Or if you didn't want to go full out max power, but a little bit more than one, you could do like a double squatch and then a big. Oh, it's funny, Jason Julian, that, you know, the later year MacBook Pro 2012 edition, I didn't know this, by the way. I just had it in my fucking closet. So my buddy was over here getting my supercomputer PC ready for hosting Streamlabs and doing all the shows. And I was just chatting with him, having a beer. And he goes, "Oh, you got one of those?" I was like, "Yeah, I just got it on my fucking thing." I was trying to change it over to Windows one time, and then I accidentally formatted the wrong file, and then I wiped its brain. So now it's a glorified paperweight. He goes, "Fuck, dude, I'll fix it for you." So I just gave it to him. So he's fixed it, reprogrammed it. He's put both Windows onto it, as well as a Mac OS, the newest one, and Final Cut and all the crap. So all I got to do now is just put a better storage in it and some new RAM, and we'll be good to go. She'll be able to be lickety split. So, what's up, Joe? Quadruple 7B. How you doing, man? Well, it's funny. You want to hear what the funny joke is about who my computer guy is? He's 73 years old. He's a genius whiz at computers, and he's really, really like he's so smart when it comes to this. But he's 73 years old, man, and this man knows vastly more about computers and tech when it comes to computers and shit than I do, man. He's a smart motherfucker, man, and but he's the age that my grandfather was when he died, and he's so much better than I am. He's also one of the best blues harmonica players in all of Canada. Not that he'd ever admit it, but the man is he's like a locomotive. You want to see a man play a harmonica in a way that you've almost never seen. Johnny DeConqueroo, the Colonel, man. That's what they call him in the blues circuit, the Colonel. And this man knows how to play a fucking harmonica, I'll tell you. It's kind of fucked up. Smokes like a chimney, has next to no lung capacity left, but when it comes to playing his harmonica, boom, he's got all the wind he needs. He may have quit smoking, actually, but for the longest time that I knew him, he smoked like a chimney. But yep, that's right. My current computer guy, my computer tech man, is 73. He knows everything compared to me. So, and he's he's currently rebuilding the MacBook Pro for me. We're gonna use that one as the dedicated editing computer, and then I'll be using my gaming laptop for running the Streamlabs there. And it's now time for the live stream to live stream. For those of you who are new here, this happens sometimes. One, it's called diuretics. Two, if this freaks you out, this may not be the channel for you. Three, this is why we're the realest YouTube on YouTube. We don't hide anything from anybody. It's pretty funny. Some people get really freaked out when this happens. I'm like, oh my God, it's a natural function. We all take peas. Relax. Again, Jesse L, my ratios off the top of my head aren't just like right there. If you go back and watch my harvest episode of my last run, I go over all of that in the harvest video. So just go back a couple months, month or two, and find the last harvest video, and all of that information will be there for you on that. I'm thinking I did roughly a cup of 3% solution H2O2. No, was it a cup or was it a liter? Can't remember. Go back and watch the video, though. I do go over all the ratios for H2O2 bud washing in that video. I just don't have them fresh at the top of my head at the moment. But it worked great. And you also get to see some fun time-lapse stuff where Caden Crooks and Uncle Michael came and helped us with the harvest there. AKA I had assistants, and I got them to do some work too, you know. It was fun. It's amazing how fast harvest goes when you got a couple of helpers. Dude, they do. But that's why we're not putting in that. So I'm putting all new Samsung tech. I'm buying Samsung parts and putting those into the new MacBook Pro. My boys, he was like, man, I would put this in. He was just like, dude, I can get you these parts. It's going to cost you about $400 with labor. And we could do that. That may not include the RAM. I may need to spend a little bit more on the RAM. But anyway, neither here nor there. But hell yeah. So Jesse L, if I'm remembering correctly, it was roughly a liter of, it was either a cup or a liter. I can't remember off the top of my head. 3% solution H2O2 to 25 gallons of water. But if you want an exact ratio, that is in the video. If you go back and watch that, the last harvest video that I did. So I will go over all of that for you, and we're good to go. Well, that's good, Soul Price. Well, I'll have to pop into the Discord and say hi after the show. I believe you wanted, you had a question for me as well. Well, Jesse L, technically I've been adding flavor to the paper, you know what I'm saying, since a long time ago. I've been doing this for over 20 years now. And that's when I started to realize, fuck, not only did I get into the game really, really young, fuck, I am getting old now. Oh, good times. Oh, while you're talking about that Irish Wanderer, one thing I will share is everyone at the new lab, I am going to be bringing in new lights. So some of the original lights, the first ever made. So not only do they work and they crank, they are with the older chip, but I still love them there. I used them up on the last run. We will be giving away a couple of the original double squatch units ever made. I think I'm going to do a couple of tweaks on them just to kind of make them a little bit more durable. Because our first ones, which were the Legacy series, were great. We just really stepped up our game in terms of our builds by the new release. But we're going to be doing giveaways. I'm going to give away two of the originals that were first ever made. It's part of the history of this channel. I will ask, though, for those who can afford lights or have decent lighting systems at home, when we do these giveaways at the new lab, please don't participate. I'd like to do them for those of you at home who really don't have tons of money. Remember when we did that one way back when we called it the light giveaway for the Potsquatch who didn't have a buck who needs a buck, or something like that. I think we all can use our best judgment and know exactly who I mean with that. So I would really like for those who participate in the giveaways or people who really need them, and then could have, that giveaway be something that really helps you. And plus, whoever wins it, you're winning a part of the history of our channel. One of the first ever made Squatch lights. One of the first 4 or 5. How many do I have? I have 5, 4, 5, something like that. Anyway, but I'll number them for you, and I can even, sign it for you and write, like, this is the Potsquatch, this was number 3 ever created. If you doubt it, fuck you. Here's my signature, here's the this, here's the that. All anyone will ever have to do to prove that was me is just, call me up and show me, and I'll be like, yeah, no, I wrote that. That's my chicken scrawl. But we're going to be giving those away at the new lab there. So, yep. Well, there we go, Red Claws. So at the end of the day, then you would be someone who meets that requirement. That's and I ask those of you to really just respect that, because really at the end of the day, this type of giveaway, I mean, it's like part of being a tech brand, I'm bringing in some of our newer builds and some of our newer stuff. So the least I can do is pass on the love. Hey, what's up, Laura Wiggins? You're just down in Seattle. You're not very far from me. We're actually not that far from the American border where I live. So, what's up, yo? How's it going? But yeah, so that's what we're gonna be doing, everybody. We're gonna be doing that at the new lab. So I am trading one of them for some of the equipment we need for the new show. I technically promised one to Adam Squatch, which was the second ever built. I haven't talked to him in a God's age, and I keep trying to get a hold of him, and he never calls me back. But I think he's just having a hard time. So everyone, no, if you got Adam Squatch on Facebook, message him. Let's all bombard him. We'll get him back. I'm worried about the kid, but if he doesn't want it, then we can put that one up for auction or a giveaway, not auction, as well. But there's at least 2 rigs, 2 doubles that I will be putting up to go out and be part of the giveaway there. So I mean, it's the least I can do. Plus, they've only got a few runs on them, lots of years of life left on them. So. Nice, Laura. Now, here's the true question, though, that I will have. Laura, what are you going to be running this year for the summer season? What do you have to play with this year? What genetics will you be choosing to grow? Yes, so Roman Reckless, tipping or donating is going to be an option on the new shows. We will be using Streamlabs Pro, so there will now be, for those of you at home, if you'd like to make a donation or a tip, quote unquote, to these shows to help us keep things running, you will be more than welcome to do so. That will be part of the new show. It's offered by Streamlabs, and it makes it easy, so we're going to be getting that going. And okay, you talking to strain, or you just teasing me that fact that I really like moonshine, but I don't have any, Laura? You can, but YouTube takes far too much of what the super chats are. So we don't. I have a Patreon that I've never used. No one's ever made a donation through it, so don't even worry about the Patreon. Really, at the end of the day, in the new shows, we're going to be not only going live on YouTube. We're going to be live on Instagram, hopefully, because I'm pretty sure I can plug into Streamlabs and make it work on Instagram. We're going to be live on Facebook as well. And there will be the option in the new shows to donate, or I think they call it a tip on there. Same shit, really, I guess. But so there will be that option coming forward in the new world. Plus, I should, in theory, be able to interface our store into it once I get that fixed. We've had a store that currently doesn't really operate because I can't get a payment portal that'll ever let us fucking do business with them because they're dicks. I'm going to get that fixed at the new lab as well. So everyone's going to be able to buy their hats and t-shirts, papers, grinders, and eventually garden supply as well. That's another thing we're going into for our company is we're going to be starting a one-stop shop for all the garden supply you could ever need, and that will be available for you all around the world as well. So, a lot of big, exciting things coming. I inhale some spit. I hate that. Sorry about that. Oh, there we go. Oh, hell yeah, Red Claws. You can always ask my opinions on shit, man. It's all good, baby. I'm happy to help. Yes, YouTube will take 40% of the donation if I run it through YouTube. But I do believe, though, that the donate function functions via Streamlabs now, and that will not be that. So I am working on finding ways around that. That's why I've never turned on super chats with YouTube. Plus, they did recently. Ooh, DJ Short Genetics. Hell yeah, Laura. Now you're speaking my language, girl. Hello. But there are ways around things, and I'm trying my best to educate myself on how all of this will work. Plus, I don't like the idea of a large conglomerate taking 40% of a tip that is meant to come help us create the content and keep the show going. That doesn't seem right to me. So I am trying to figure all of that out, and I don't think that that will happen if I do it via Streamlabs. And if it does, well, we'll find another way too. Plus, they've also changed the tax rules. So now the American government's trying to take some of my money now too, which is fun because I'm a Canadian, so I don't get that. But anyway, neither here nor there. I don't need to get into how frustrating I find tax law. Wally one. I'm probably saying that wrong, but that's cool. Maliseet. Is that your tongue? Like your tribe's language? I hope I'm not butchering that horribly. Wally one. Maliseet. I'm probably saying it really wrong, but if I am, I'm sorry. So I could supersede YouTube's stupidity if I do the tips via Streamlabs, right? That's what I thought I could do, Roman Reckless, but I haven't fully figured all of that out yet. Because again, I'm very slow on the uptake on some of these new computer things, hence the jokes we were making earlier in the show that, god damn it, I wish I stayed hip with computers after Windows XP Service Pack 3. That's what I thought, Roman. Okay, cool. So good to know that at least my partial education is not completely askew when it comes to computer crap. Oh, 100%. So Greens and 373 Steel. The new house, I've got to set up a P.O. box there, so I won't have the new mailing address there, but I do still have my apartment in Vancouver where Uncle Michael sublets from me. So we still have a concrete mailing address that is always up and running, and you can mail things into me there until we get to the new house and I can set up that P.O. box, and then that obviously will work for mail there. The one drawback, I hope, where I'm moving, there ain't no mail delivery. Ah, shit. At least there's garbage pickup anyway. Woolly one. Oh, I'm saying it too fast. That makes sense. I speak really quickly typically. Cool, man. Thank you for sharing that, by the way, Red Claws. I appreciate that. But yeah, so we do have a mailing address that will remain functional while we're trying to get the new mailing address set up for the next Laboratories. Okay. I mean, technically, I am going to be here at this address until May the 3rd. And it's, well, what's the date today? 19th, 20th, something like that. So there's technically about 40 days left at this address. I will be paying to forward this address's mail for me and the Mrs. Potsquatch to the new P.O. box anyway. So even if it happens that you send it here and it doesn't quite get here, it should be rectified in that way. I'm trying to, cover all my shit, We're working on it, man. What's up, Authentica? Good day to you, my friend. How you doing, man? What's up? But like I was sharing with everyone, lots of fun, exciting things to come in the new world at Lab 2. From not only vastly some ash in my beard. There we go. not only will we have vastly fancier shows hosted via Streamlabs, launching on multiple platforms, um, and tip function, all this other crap available. We're going to also be doing, not only you'll have every week, no matter what the week is, there will be an update video on a flowering room because we're going perpetual flowering in there. Plus, not at the house because I've got a lot of neighbors there, and I've never been a fan of growing pot outdoors when I got neighbors up my ass. But I am contemplating maybe doing a secret gorilla grow out in the bush for fun, for educational purposes. So, quite potentially, we'll do something like that. Eventually, we will be doing some outdoor stuff just for fun as well. Once we eventually buy the farm, which is sort of the next step of one of the things we're working towards for the genetics company. So, but lots of fun things, like I said, coming at the new place. Plus, we're going to be doing a lot of how-to videos. That's one thing we've kind of not done as much of in the last number of years. And I really want to get back to making educational how-to videos that are concise and really beneficial to people. Some of our most viewed videos have been those old how-to videos that I used to make. So I'm going to make a commitment to both you and all of them to basically be able to kind of get back to that. So not only will we be doing how-tos, we're going to be doing lots of different types of experiments and runs. Earlier in the show, we talked about some of the first ones you're going to see is, we'll build a basic space bucket. That's going to be lots of fun. And then we're going to build the super fancy space ton out of the 55-gallon, I believe it was, oil drum. So that's going to be fun too, because also I get to pull out the angle grinder now. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we can watch myself try not to hurt myself with power tools. All right. Yeah, Laura, we're gonna do and that's a good thing. I should share it too. Anyone, those of you who are either new here or haven't heard this yet, there is actually a whole brand new email. Here, I'll type it into the chat right now for you. Send an email here for a request on a specific how-to video or a specific video series you'd like to see. Anything that you want to see this silly dumbass do, you're going to be able to do it. And the email to email that to us here at Potsquatch Growers is potsquatchdo@gmail.com. You'll see it there underneath my little thing there. So it's potsquatchdo with 2 O's at gmail.com. That is not a typo. Potsquatchdo. It's a joke. I thought it was funny. But that's where you can also email in anytime to make a request. When you do email in, I take your email and I actually add it to a logbook with all the requests and ideas, and then that goes into the mix of planning future content, shows, and everything. Oh, there's one thing I haven't talked about. This is going to be fun. We're going to have a once-a-month show, a special show, live stream show done with my business partner of the lighting brand. That's right. It's only taken me 3 years, 2 and a bit years to convince him to do it, but he's on board. Brett, my cohort in crime for making lights for all of you, will be doing and has committed and agreed to do it, a once-a-month live stream show with Uncle Potsquatch where we're going to go over lighting tech stuff. We're going to go over lots of different little things and have a fun, informative monthly show with him. Basically, as I said to him, well, man, all the other lighting brands and the channels that have, they got a guy that comes on and talks HLG got Steven and all that. Brett, I want to show you off, baby. Come show off to the world with me. I want to put you in the spotlight, Brett. And he's actually agreed to do it. So going forward in the new world, we're going to have a monthly show with Brett as well. And that's going to be fun too. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm trying to make the brand more dynamic, more comprehensive, and offering a lot more types of content for all of you. And that'll be fun. Am I going to be doing any outdoor? I might do a gorilla grow for everyone. Not in my house, though. 1, yard's not very big. And 2, simply put, I just got too many neighbors where the new house is. So, plus my medical license that I possess, I could do an indoor-outdoor license, but I always keep my medical license indoors. It's just less problematic doing it that way. But we will try to do maybe an educational gorilla outdoor grow maybe for everyone this year. We'll see if we can get that together in time. And if not, well, in the future for sure. But yes, my friends, we're going to be doing all sorts of new things. And, at the end of the day, even if you're making a request to something I don't even know about or I've never done before, Well, that's going to be part of the fun. It's going to be watching me learn and watching me play with it and probably swear at it potentially. But it's going to be lots of fun. I want to get back to what I truly fell in love with growing with in the first place, which was partly also experimenting all the time, doing different weird shit and fucking around. All while, but with the new size, the new place, we've got more than enough space to be doing all of these experiments and doing all of these fun things while still cranking out weight for my medical needs. So that's where I'm really looking forward to this new setup. Is it'll afford us the space to really kind of, really step up our game hardcore. It's going to require even more time, but that's okay. This is my life now, being Uncle Potsquatch for all of you, and it's I'm humbly honored to do it, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And let's take our community even more global than we already are. Let's grow by the day as we always do. And I'm going to do everything I can behind the scenes for our company to aggressively be standing up for our people in the industry. Both with lights, already do that. CBD brand, well, we've been doing that. We're working hard to really expand that for everyone. And 3, well, genetics, that's one of the next things. And then 4, well, we're going to make a TV show too, because why not? And it's going to be a good time, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, everybody, it's been a wonderful show today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for sticking with us, even though we're in between labs. I appreciate your patience and understanding. The good news is there's light at the end of the tunnel now. No pun intended. We have a place to go. We've sold this house officially. May 3rd, we take possession of the new laboratory. And my God, you ain't seen nothing yet. And hey, you're back. You did. We're just finishing the show, Johnny, but welcome back, my buddy. Everybody, we couldn't do anything that we do without you. The lighting brand would not be able to expand if you didn't trust us and give us a chance and rock our equipment. Our expansion of our CBD products would not work if you weren't buying them. Our show would not even exist. Our channel wouldn't exist. Nothing that we've done wouldn't exist with all of you at home. And just know how much I love you and value each and every one of you. And get ready for a good time, because guess what? They ain't seen nothing yet, baby. And we're about to come back in such a way that those out there who don't like Uncle Potsquatch or intimidated by our movement, our growth, and what we do, well, be afraid. Be very afraid. For those of you who are on our team, well, get ready for a good time, baby, because we're about to turn it up to 12. That's right. All right. Well, anyway, everybody, remember, the true grower is a forever student. The true grower is not afraid to take risks. The true grower makes educated, stupid decisions. All right, everybody. I love you. Keep it sexy. Keep it real. Word to your mother. I'll see you next time. And remember, this show has been in replacement of the show tomorrow. So we will not be going live tomorrow because I got to go to Vancouver. But anyway, everybody, love you. Keep it real. Smoke them if you got them. Okay. I'll see you around the flip-flop, baby. I love you, everyone. Goodbye. Peace.